Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mthwakazi. I would like to greet you wherever you are around the world. And to all other nations, I hope that the message carried in this video will teach you a thing or two about the nation of Mthwakazi as I speak to. We have reached a defining moment in our time where we have decided that there is no going back in the quest for our freedom, in the quest for our self-determination. The government of Zimbabwe has gone out of its way to attempt to wipe us out of existence in this world. They will not manage. We have risen, we are rising, and we are marching forward. We will fight this struggle until we win it. Ladies and gentlemen, last week, in fact, 2 weeks ago, more than 120 innocent civilians from Mthwakazi Unite were arrested by the government of Zimbabwe for fighting for rights to their land against a businessman that decided to bulldoze his way into their community. A week later, within the past week from today, as it is the 6th of November 2017 that I speak now, over 500 people were targeted to be displaced from a farm that they have been settled at. Over 500 people. A ZANU-PF official that decided that he wanted the land where these 500 people live, and the military was sent to go and displace them. Some of them, through resistance, were arrested and later bailed. Yesterday, November 5, 2017, a group of Mthwakazi nationals, led by one of our leaders, King Stanley Raphael Kumalo, Mthwakazi II, was taken into custody at Bulawayo Central Police Station. Upon being beaten, upon being brutalized, assaulted by the military, armed soldiers, accompanied by armed policemen, together with the secret service of the country. They came in full force to a venue at Egcekeni Lengwala to come and wait for innocent civilians that were going there to gather to pray for the coming rains. People that were going to celebrate a customary tradition to pray for the coming rains. And when they got to the venue, they found trucks and trucks loaded with soldiers, fully armed. Trucks and trucks loaded with policemen, fully armed. Some of them were beaten, arms were broken. Some of them were bitten, ribs were fractured. And those same victims were taken in custody and thrown in the police cells. Mothers who had their children in cars were not allowed to even go and take their children from parked cars where they had left their children, seeing the commotion that was happening at the scene of where they wanted to go and engage their celebration. These people were later assisted by lawyers, human rights lawyers in Bulawayo. And to their detriment and little choice, They were asked to pay $5 fine as an admission of guilt that they are not allowed to celebrate their culture. Some were asked why they are wearing cultural clothing, because it would be a sign of defiance to the government of Zimbabwe. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say this has to stop, and it stops now. Mthwakazi, when are we going to realize that we are indeed dealing with an enemy? All our differences aside, imbono yethu yonke ehlukeneyo, whether it is about the revival of the monarchy that was destroyed by the British, whether it is about the vision of the different political parties that exist within the nation of Mthwakazi, whether it is about the different religions within which we come from, whether it is about the different traditional ceremonies or beliefs or non-beliefs, any differences that we have, most importantly, whether it is about the different languages that we speak in our diversity as a nation of Mthwakazi. I am going to ask today that people from all regions of Matabeleland and Midlands put aside all those differences that we share, that we have. It is our diversity, and in a democracy that we are fighting for in our self-determination, these differences will be acknowledged as part of our rainbow nation. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking you today that the nationals, the citizens of Mthwakazi from Matabeleland and Midlands, it is time that we come together and fight the common enemy that we have had for more than 37 years in this country called Zimbabwe. This is not a call for hatred. This is a call for the fight for our freedom. This is a call for the fight for our human rights. The world is ignorant of what is happening to us. We have a nation that is traumatized, a nation that is afraid to stand for itself. This week, a United States citizen, one United States citizen, was taken into custody because of a Twitter posting that was said to be against the government of Zimbabwe, or the president of Zimbabwe, Robert Gabriel Mugabe. The arrest of that girl, unfortunate as it was, and unnecessary as it was, and brutal as it was, which we can never condone, as we support her in her efforts as well. But the one thing I will tell you is that the arrest of that girl was heard throughout the entire world. News everywhere around the world broadcasted the arrest of that young lady. Yet the arrest of 120 civilians in a village somewhere in Cholocho in Matabeleland North, nobody in the world has spoken about in any media around the world. The arrest and the displacement of over 500 people last week from Fox Farm in Matabeleland has not been heard by anybody and has not been broadcasted by any major news media anywhere around the world. Yet the brutality visited upon civilians that were going to celebrate their tradition, that were going to pray for a better rainy season in line with their yearly tradition. Those people were beaten, arms were broken, ribs were fractured. The world media has not been heard speaking about those people. Where is the unfairness? Sizwe sika Mthwakazi, unless we wake up and start being serious about our unity, to look after ourselves, nobody is out there looking after us. At the end of the day, it is going to be a situation of us being crybabies because everybody thinks we are irrelevant. And unless we start to show the world that we are not irrelevant, that we are relevant, that we exist, and that we are now going to mean business, the odds are tilted against us. We have control and we can take control. Engikucelayo namuhla bathwakazi abahle yikuthi let us put our differences aside. If you belong to a different political party than your next door neighbor, than your friend, than whoever it is, shake your friend's hand and tell him that namuhla singabathwakazi wathinto yedwa wathinto abangathintwayo, and we move forward, we fight the enemy together. This is a revolution for the nation of Mthwakazi seeking self-determination. If they come for us, we will not engage in violence, but we will resist in every possible form. The idea that they will take us into custody and trick us into paying bails to admit that we are guilty of a criminal offense by fighting for our rights, that will be stopped. Because the next time that a national or a citizen of Mthwakazi has a gathering and the army and the police come to intimidate us, to throw us into trucks and take us to prison, they will probably need to keep us in prison for a while. Because just like the former heroes of the different struggles that have happened around Africa to liberate different nations, we are going to resist. We are no longer going to be submissive. And I am asking Sizwe sika Mthwakazi ukuthi ake siyekeni ukuresista inkululeko or ukulwela inkululeko yethu at the expense of our children, at the expense of our great-grandchildren, and at the expense of our dignity as a nation. It is time that we all look at ourselves in the mirror and ask ourselves, if you are complacent to your identity's existence, if you are complacent to the violations that you face as a Mthwakazian, then ask yourself if you are being fair to your children, if you are being fair to your brothers, if you are being fair to the nation. We are an independent nation, and we shall remain so. We have a birth certificate, we have title deeds to our country. Everybody knows that the nation of Mthwakazi is not a fake nation. Silwela umhlaba wethu, ilizwe lethu, our land that was stolen by the British and handed over to people that continued to kill us in order for us to not have control of that land. Asibambaneni isizwe sika Mthwakazi, wathinto yedwa wathinto abangathintwayo. Forget your differences. It is now time for us to fight in unity.